Right at it. Right at it. Oh,
Jordan
he's
Spieth.
done it again, just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Welcome to episode 114 of the Go Get That podcast. We are here to preview the Valspar Championship, end of the Florida swing, end of a 3-week stretch for Jordan Spieth, unless he plays the Houston Open next week, which I'd say right now is probably pretty doubtful. But anyways,
Would agree.
we are here to talk Valspar Championship. Jordan, a past champion here in 2015. Nearly won it last year, has some good history here, and very much need of a good week after, a subpar performance at the API and an embarrassing missed cut at the Players. So
Yes.
we are here to discuss the chances for Mr. Spieth this week at the Copperhead Course.
We are. It's a great week to have a great week, I'd say. It's a really poor week to have a bad week, but I think it is a good week to have a good one. And I mean, it's March. The spring is in the air. The tingles are tingling. It's just a great sports season right now. It is theme song season at the end of the day. Hearing that March Madness theme song yesterday was obviously a great follow-up to, of course, the Players theme song, which is up there with the greats. But Jordan Spieth needs to have a good week this week, and I think that I tweeted that I don't think the alarms are sounding yet, but they will be with a poor week this week. So we have 2 weeks left, 2 tournaments left before the Masters, and this is a place he's historically played well at. This has got to go. This has got to be should be a top 10 at minimum for Mr. Spieth with this field. So,
And you'd hope so.
yeah, it's not ideal. We will see it. We will see.
When you're in the 9th percentile from 100 to 150 yards.
My Lord, that number still
3rd
baffles
percentile
me.
from 100 to 150 in shots gained. From that distance, hard to trust that the game is there. Hard to trust that Spieth J will be across the NBC leaderboard come Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, at least in the first 2 pages. But that being said, Mr. Spieth tends to play pretty well after a missed cut these days.
That's very. Congrats to Mr. Spieth on that fact. That is true.
He does tend to bounce back, and I'd expect some putts to be made this week. It'll be interesting to see how the draw plays out. As weatherman Dan here, it's an interesting week. It's supposed to be windy Friday through Sunday, which is fantastic. The non-fantastic news is the amount of rain they're getting Friday, particularly in the morning. So Spieth is late early. It's going to be important to get off to a good start Thursday afternoon because this could be, depending on how much the wind blows, and if it dies down and the course plays soft, then this just goes right out the window. But this could be a 10, 11, 12 under par winner this week. And so getting 4, 5, or 6 of those unders on Thursday would be quite nice. Kind of increase that margin of error as the week goes on. But tees off Friday morning at just before 8:30, I believe. We'll see how long that round takes on the actual clock. Because a lot of rain coming in, potential for thunderstorms. It could be. My guess is round 2 doesn't get completed on Friday. Hopefully, the morning wave can get through, but it'll be a packed Saturday, and then probably threesomes this weekend. So, or particularly on Sunday, but it should be a fun week. This is a good golf course. It's a proper challenge in some ways, and
It is.
I think it's a good chance to bounce back, but it also could very easily kind of continue to prove to us why, you know, we should be a little bit concerned or more than concerned or absolutely hammering the panic button as we, get closer and closer to Augusta.
Oh, for sure. And I think that also speaks to, um, I think that as we get closer to the Masters, in recent, I guess in recent years for Jordan, he's basically where his game, the trends in his game have been just exponentially, um, have just been blown up at the Masters. Whether if he's making big numbers, he makes a really big number at the Masters that takes him out of the tournament. If he can't putt, he's not putting well. So the trends in his game typically are reflected at the Masters. So that's the biggest reason I think that these next 2 weeks are so crucial, because the trends in his game currently um are terrible for Augusta National. Absolutely terrible. Whether it be sloppy bogeys or uh bad short game, um let alone just the irons and the wedges, just could be a really if he keeps playing this way, it could be one of his worst finishes at the Masters ever. So I think that things need to get cleaned up. I'm hoping that who knows, maybe Spieth played around down in the Bahamas. Who knows? We do know that he got some putting practice yesterday during his commercial that he was filming. So hopefully that went well. And hopefully the swing is starting to come together before Thursdays. It's afternoon, right? Afternoon tea time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, that's well said. Dan kind of alluded to it. The weather looks iffy. Friday looks really bad, kind of as Dan alluded to. I don't know if golf will be played Friday. I mean, it's supposed to just rain all day long. So I guess the good news is we'll get all 18 holes in Thursday for sure.
We will.
I mean, there's a lot of blue on my Apple weather app for Friday in terms of precipitation. So I don't know how much we'll get in Friday. I think hopefully we can get all the golf in by Sunday. Saturday and Sunday look relatively good, so the weather looks good. Golf course is already hard, and then you're going to add in what, 10 plus, 15 plus mile per hour winds every day. It is going to be a challenge. And for someone like Mr. Spieth, who's had, some struggles committing to shots when there's 5 mile per
Yeah.
hour winds, you crank that up to 15. Could be tricky. So there's that. Foul balls around here could be penalized as well.
Very penalizing. Yeah. But
So
also just this course kind of it kind of to like you need to be like, if you keep the ball in play, this is a momentum course. Like, this is a course that momentum is going to play a huge factor in. Whether it's taking aggressive lines or just making big par saves. There are a lot of the thing I like about this course is there's a lot of really hard holes preceding easy holes. So there could be a lot of big par putts that Spieth makes that or doesn't make that could affect how he plays the easy hole following that. So I think that momentum at this course is going to be crucial. And we know Spieth has struggled keeping momentum in recent weeks, specifically um, that first round at the Players was brutal because he was rolling them in and he was really getting away with 2-3 shots on the front nine and parred 16, and then obviously made bogey on 18 and just not good. So
yeah, tough golf
Yeah,
course.
Yeah.
Kind of like you alluded to, I think it's going to be very similar to last week. I assume with the wind, it's just going to be, play the par fives well and, make pars everywhere else. I'm looking back at last year. That's kind of how it played. If you were playing the par fives well and making par on the threes and the fours, You probably scored pretty well. I assume it's going to be pretty similar this week. I know Sawgrass, I was kind of curious how Sawgrass would play last week. Obviously, ended up playing pretty easy, played under par. I don't see the Copperhead Course playing under par this week with all the wind that we're going to get. So it's just going to be about bogey avoidance this week, which Spieth's had some troubles with as of late. It's just going to be about, getting up and down at the par fives and, making threes and fours. And can he, do that? Time will tell. He's just gonna have to hit a bunch of greens. His scrambling ability should, come in handy this week. I think everyone will be missing greens with the forecasted wins, so he has that in his favor. But at the same time, just doing some research on this venue. I mean, he's the 75 to 200 yard range specifically is a range that you got to be really good at around here. And Spieth is this year, he in proximity from 175 to 200 yards is 143rd on
Yeah.
tour. So
Yeah, it's
that's not good. But it's also, of course, typically you got to putt really well at. He's been putting it pretty well lately. So there's some, I guess, some positive factors and then some
And he puts
negative.
these greens well as well.
He does, yeah, historically very, very well.
And we know how the putter can be, even in the depths of someone's game, can be the club that keeps the momentum going. So that is a huge positive going into this week for Spieth, because he rolls in a few long ones to make up for some bonehead mistakes or just really poor swings. That could go a long way at a course like this, especially in a field where Spieth theoretically should be able to win with his B+ game.
In theory. Assuming
Well,
yes,
yeah, in theory.
one of Xander or JT or Sam Burns, who all
Burns
three
playing very well
in recent weeks been in better form than Jay Spieth, don't bring their B+ A- game. And this is kind of an interesting point in the season, and we touched on it briefly coming on here, but the more I think about it, this is a pretty big week. Like, in the grand scheme of this season, it was a hot start out of the gate. The Hero was nice to see some serious progress, some good golf. Followed it up at the Century. Tough week at Pebble, just didn't putt very well. Didn't make a ton of bogeys, just didn't make a lot of birdies. Phoenix, pretty solid week. And then a great start at the Genesis right before the flu and the Tom Kim being not a great friend, so to speak. And then headed into this Florida swing, right? API was mediocre at best. If you're being kind, it was mediocre. And then the Players was awful at best. So which, like, I'm curious to see kind of this week if it's a chance to wipe away the previous 2 weeks and move forward and say, no, I'm actually a lot closer to where I was with the work I was doing early in the season. Or if it's another bad week, it's uh-oh, Cam, we're gonna have to like hit a reset button here as we go into one event in Texas and then straight into Augusta National. And to me, there's a lot more one of those paths is more viable to playing good golf, at least as soon as Augusta National's coming up, and that means playing well this week, because there's not that much time. Augusta's 3 weeks away, Valspar, Houston, Valero, and then we're driving up Magnolia Lane. Like, this is go time, and
It's
if
true.
he presses start on his thing this week, and it's like that animation in Mario Kart where he's just spinning out, I'm gonna be hammering that panic button, because there will not be that much time to get it prepped and geared and ready to go for Augusta
No.
National. And that's really what it's all about at this point.
It really is. Like, honestly, like, we kind of have to take two sides, right? Like the Valspar, obviously, like, at this point, we're just trying to win anything. Like, this would, like, we want another win under the belt, but at the same time, like, give me a win at Augusta National, and I could care less what he does this week at all. So it's almost like these events, like, besides a win, are all just for the purpose of Augusta National. So this is again, I think that we know how much Jordan Spieth hates missing cuts. We know that missing cuts have been wake up calls in the past for him. So I think that this will be, like this is the tournament where like this is it, right? Like, he just missed a cut. He's on a course that he putts pretty well. He has a great history at, not a strong field. This needs to be a good week. Like there's no excuses for this not to be a good week. Given how he's gone through his career. So yeah, I think this is one of the most important weeks we've had in recent memory for Mr. Spieth.
To that point, we brought up good week a few times this episode, and I'm curious if you guys could define what a good week is this week. Like I think there's a range of different things.
I think there is two.
Not be just result based on the
Yeah.
leaderboard, but I'm curious.
No, I do think that, like, overall, I think there's no scenario in which this is a good week if it's not a top 20. So that's my first criteria. I don't like if he finishes T18 and misses everything. I don't think that's the end of the world either. The putter, as we've talked about, is not the problem. I don't think it's necessarily, it's not the saving grace, but it's not the problem. And if he just misses everything this week and he burns a lot of edges, then so be it. If he fixes a lot of other parts of his game, and if that results in a T18 because he just can't make anything, that's still a good week in my mind. But overall, given the way he's putted here, this should be a top 15 pretty routinely for someone who's the 15th ranked player in the world. So I don't know whether we necessarily agree with that's where he stands, but I do think that Dan's right. There is a wide range of results this week that could be considered a good week, but I'm going to be hard on him. Like, I think the only way that he finishes outside the top 15 or top 20, with me coming out of here not being very nervous for Augusta, is if he just doesn't make anything, because I think every other part of his game needs to show some signs of life. Like we can't be bailing out with I honestly think that the shots that aren't going to go in the water are just as telling, like that tee shot on 16, that like those need to be high sack drives. Like those can't be left rough all 4 days, because that's telling as to where he's at. You know what I mean? So I think there are a wide range, and I'm interested to hear what Jordan has to say as well.
I'd appreciate, Green and the off the tee and the approach stats for both. I mean, he's last 4 events, he's done that once, and that was Genesis where he got disqualified. He's been, he's played 6 events this year, a miscut, a DQ. The only event he played with 4 rounds all tracked with, data that he's been green and off the tee approach a century. So, I mean, that's not very good, and it's not really surprising based on what we've seen. The ball striking has been, off the tee has been pretty good, but the, approach play has been pretty poor. I don't really see, the only thing I really wouldn't want is like a top 10 where he just makes everything, because that would just be annoying. I want to see good ball striking. He hasn't gained a shot on approach, or average in a shot and approach for 4 days yet this year. He did that, 1, 2, 3, like 5 times last year. He hasn't done it once yet in 2024. So it'd be nice if we do that. It'll be good though. I know Bob kind of alluded to Sawgrass last week as like a plotter's golf course. I know we only got to see 2 days, but the way it played last week, it really wasn't too plotty because it played pretty easy. This week won't play as easy as Sawgrass played. So missing in the right spots, good golf course IQ, which is obviously a large struggle of ours. Just leaving yourself in the right spots. That'd kind of be nice, because par is going to be a good score on nearly every hole, probably with the wins. Just play smart. Just that's all I ask, because we never get that. We always get, very dumb decisions, like don't short side yourself. Don't fire at every pin, which he, loves to do. Just hit it to the center of the green and two putt on like nearly every hole, and I'll be pretty happy. So that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
Ball striking's got to be better. I
it
mean, if we want to
does.
have any
It
hope
really
at
does.
Augusta, I mean, he could make everything at Augusta, but you got to give yourself chances. And what we've seen with the ball striking, you're just not giving yourself enough chances because the iron shots and the wedge shots are just poor. So,
Yeah, and especially at a course like Augusta National, like you have got to take advantage of your wedges at Augusta National. Like you look at holes like you have got to take advantage of those par fives that you don't go for in two. Like you can't every single par like there's going to be fairways you miss on par fives that you can't go for in two, or maybe 15 plays into the wind and you can't get there at all. Like that, like those can't be pars every time. Like you need to still steal birdies when you don't hit a perfect tee shot on par fives at Augusta, because like those are the whole like three is a weird hole because it can play very easy or very hard depending on the pin. Like if it's front left, it's like probably one of the hardest under 350 par fours in the world. But it's if it's back right, you can attack that. So I mean, you're looking at like this is like wedges can't be where they are right now. And have any chance. He could make everything and wedge it like he has been and not finish top 10. So yeah, I agree.
yeah,
It's
good.
I think one of my goals for the week is no sixes on the scorecard. There's been quite a few of those in recent. No sixes or above.
Yeah,
No
there have been a lot.
no sixes with a square, two squares. No sevens with a double square. Um, Play the par fives well. It's something he did really well last year, actually, and did well early this season, but just too many sloppy mistakes on those holes, which I think specifically sort of showcases what you're talking about, Jordan, with just the sloppy golf. There's way too much sloppy golf in the bag. Um, and I mean, we keep just hammering that point home, but it's true. And the sixes on fives is part of it. I would like to see some green in those too precious off the tee and approach categories. It's so beautiful when it pops up like that on data golf, but that'd be fantastic. It'd be nice to move up the 100 to 150 percentiles as well. I would like to see some dart emojis across social media platforms.
Of course, of course.
Very few splash emojis, but um, so I'm not. I think the results I care about more this week are the statistical numbers than the actual placement on the leaderboard. But I think the placement on the leaderboard will take care of itself if we
Yeah,
get the statistical numbers that I'm looking for. Um, and we'll see. I think like sometimes the wind, if it's 15 miles an hour, maybe he just commits more because he knows it's there in a sense. Like it's less subtle and more present, and it's like kind of obvious that the flag is going across your face from right to left versus just kind of flip-flopping a little bit. And I don't know, I'm a believer in the couple days off and the work that he puts in, and I want to believe that the swing is not in need of um a more not major reset or fine tuning, but just like a serious like examination. I want to believe that there's still pieces of it from early this season that can be kind of put together and form a game that could be um, create competition with others at Augusta National in this week. But um, it's time to show that. So green in those categories. Few made putts is always helpful. But I like the idea of playing with patience and playing with purpose, I think. And that's
Absolutely.
only stuff you can see. There's no strokes gained patience, no strokes gained purpose. But if you watch on, PGA Tour Live on ESPN Plus, and then hopefully on the weekend in the afternoon coverage on it with NBC, like those will be obvious to see. And that'd be nice to a few things to just kind of keep an eye out for.
Well said. Patience is a good word. Just not a word, not something he's played with. I mean, just some professional golf shots would be nice too. I mean, we talked about it on the players recap, the hybrid at 6.
Oh my
That's
God.
that's just stuff that can't be happening, especially this week. He's not going to hit driver off of every tee. When you're not hitting driver off every tee, it's got to be in the fairway like 80% of the time, man. Right? It's going to be windy this week, so that might not be doable, but just you can't hit 10 handicap shots at this point. It's March 20th. Those should be out of the bag.
No, that tee shot on 6 has got to be out of the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would. So what's interesting about, because he had another one like that on 10.
Don't hit the club then. If you're not feeling
The
it, man,
cut-
just hit driver.
Yeah. What's interesting is the cut off the tee, the cut with the lumber has been gone. And we saw this at API. He's hit a lot of draws, hit it pretty well. But then tried to hit a cut on 16 twice and basically hit a pull draw. And hit it OB essentially twice, right up against
Yeah.
the fence is basically OB. And then the cut still wasn't really present at Sawgrass either. So I'm curious in 2 days if we can figure out how to hit a cut when he's trying to hit a cut. Because I think that's been costing him, probably honestly the past 6 rounds, probably a shot around.
Yeah.
That's a
Like
problem
hit it
right there.
trying the miss with trying to hit a cut off the tee has quite literally cost him a shot around. And
Yeah.
that's pathetic.
I appreciate the effort in trying to hit it, but I mean, he's warming up on the range. If you don't got it, don't hit it. You got to figure out some other shot to hit, man. I mean, you got what? Before the Florida thing started, you had 2 weeks with Cam to try and figure it out. If you still don't got it, you don't got it. Stop
Yeah,
trying to
but
hit a
the-
shot that is in competition rounds that you don't have. If you don't have it on the range, probably not going to have it once the round starts.
Yeah, but you got to trust it sometimes because, like,
If you can't
maybe
trust it on the
people-
range, though, why are you taking it in the
uh,
competitive
no,
play?
I know. I was gonna make some joke about how, like, when he was at home for 2 weeks, he actually just had to take care of his kids and
He's got
go
two,
swim in
man.
the pool and enjoy the warm weather and like do all the fun stuff that Dallas has to offer.
I think 66s are fun. I think
do
that's more fun.
I do too, but
He opened with 66 last year, didn't he?
is it a par 70?
1
71.
71.
I think he opened
Yeah.
with 67,
He opened with 67, which is really good.
which is fantastic. I believe it was bogey free.
Yeah. Well, if he wants 67, he's going to have to go shoot it tomorrow because I don't think it's going to be accessible. Or, I mean, it's going to be like round of the day type stuff any other day.
The only way it's accessible, I think, because it will be softer, obviously, after all the rain Friday, is if the wind dies down, which it could, right? Florida, you never really know. I mean, I'm curious to see how much they play Friday because he goes off in the morning and the rain's gonna start. If there's thunder or lightning in the area, they will stop. But if they go for, like, he might get a few holes in before it starts raining too hard, although with the tour, if one drop falls from the sky, the horn comes out instantly. So who knows? But it would be nice to not have to play the second round on Saturday and then fit in rounds 3 and 4 on
Yeah, for
Sunday.
sure.
But that seems, given the tour's ability to navigate the weather sometimes, I would put that past them.
The rough's being described as thicker this week. It's going to play very API. If you're not hitting fairways, you're playing for par, I think, on every hole, except the par 5 where you can lay up to a wedge number.
Lovely.
It's going to be quite fun with this wind. So
Yeah, I don't think there will be too many. I don't think the course is long enough for there to be too many like pitch out holes when you're in the rough.
it's going to be thicker, though. That's the word
But
on
we'll see. We'll see what the definition of thicker is, I guess, as we come. I haven't decided how I'm going to approach this week in terms of watching. Because usually when he has an afternoon tea time, I watch the like second half of the featured groups in the morning. But tomorrow I have a golf tournament this weekend, so I need I'm probably because I want to watch the March Madness games in the morning. Because for the first time ever, I get to wake up at 9 a.m. and there be March Madness basketball, which is pretty sick. So I don't think I'll be tuning in to who is it? Probably Xander, right? Xander or Burns are probably in the morning feature group, right?
I believe it's Thomas.
Oh, so definitely won't be tuning in. Yes.
Thomas Burns in the morning.
Yes, won't be tuning in. But
We talking
yeah,
tomorrow morning?
yeah. Because usually I'd watch when he plays in the afternoon, I'd watch the second half of the front. I mean of the first group, but I probably won't tomorrow. So I guess my first taste of the course will be that first tee shot, which will be great.
DJ Spieth standing on one tee with 16 waggles and then a 4 left or something like that.
We're starting on 1 tomorrow, right?
I believe so.
Yes, so that's got to birdie the first.
Yes, par 5.
Easiest hole on the golf course. We will set the tone at the first hole tomorrow, it appears.
He's also, I just checked on ESPN Plus for those that have ESPN Plus. I actually quite like ESPN Plus, even without PGA Tour Live, but he's featured, unsurprisingly.
Nice.
And then also featured Friday morning, although not marquee, I don't believe, because Xander Schauffele is playing some good golf. He also just has a better group.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's nice that we can cross Sander off of like in the winners pool at the start of every week, which is good.
He can win this week.
I don't know. I don't
It's-
Can he win
know.
at Augusta? No. But can he win
Because
this
I
he's
don't
week?
know.
he's won quite a few times. Even though he didn't win last year, I don't think. I think he's won 3 times since Spieth's last triumph.
Ouch.
So that's not ideal.
Ouch.
He didn't win in 2023.
Oh, technically 4 actually, because he won. Well, I guess half with Cantlay, but then he won
He's-
the Travelers and the Magnus and the
The Magnus
Scottish.
does not count. The Magnus does not
I mean,
count.
Congrats to him on the Magnus.
I don't know. I mean,
He hasn't won
technically,
since July of 2022. Wow.
well, that's hilarious. Spieth is actually the marquee group on Friday. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
surprised. He's the biggest name in the field based on eyeballs.
Yeah.
But I kind of thought his tee time lines up with the non-featured marquee group of Burns and Thomas in the morning. But
Xander has 12 top 5s since his last win.
That's absurd.
Think about
he's
that.
knocking on the door.
Honestly, at least we're not Xander fans. Honestly, imagine if we were Scott fans before these past 2 weeks. That would have
Yeah.
been brutal.
Problem is, it seems Scott's unstoppable.
Yeah. Scott found a putter and but I mean Scott changed something. Which
He
well,
did.
I'd argue that Spieth is changing too much.
I think he's changing too much in the swing.
Agreed. I don't know if he needs to change the putter anymore.
No.
I don't think he does either. But
He just needs to change his brain, maybe.
Putter's
Yeah.
off to a great start this year.
Yes, Mr.
very
Putter.
much so.
We
Best in a long time.
we are still in recession because that's just kind of how it works.
Well, yeah, obviously, but I for once I don't look at a 10-footer and think, oh, there's no chance this goes in, which is nice.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good
Which is nice. That's nice.
I think come a national, if say on number 1, there's 25 feet for a -1 through 1, and it goes in the back of the hole. We could be on out of recession watch.
He's 9th on tour in strokes game putting so far this year. 9th.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
That's more like it.
Yeah, he's 9th and he's 36th in the FedEx Cup.
Yeah, so that's not good.
Come on.
I don't want to see where he
down the
ends up.
FedEx Cup.
Gotta get back inside the ultimate spot in golf, not the OWGR top 10, not the Live Golf top 10, the well-esteemed Comcast top 10.
Comcast Business Tour top 10.
Yes, that's exactly where we want to be.
Any guesses where Spieth is in strokes gained approach?
Ooh. Well, they showed it a lot at API, and it was like 107 or something. and it's definitely gone down.
So 120, I'd say.
You said
He's
he's 143rd. I'm gonna say
118.
118.
Yes.
Hmm.
Rory's at 123.
Spieth and Rory.
J Day at 116.
Although Rory also won in Dubai earlier this season.
Ricky 134. Dubai does Dubai I mean it counts, but like it's not it definitely counts, but
It counts, but it's also, I don't know, but it's
the
woke.
field strength, yeah, it was woke.
Yeah.
I mean the field strength is lacking over there.
Yeah.
Fair enough, but it's still a triumph.
Yeah, no. Don't get me wrong.
Hey,
Spieth got
more than
Euros
Jay
wore it down.
Spieth could say. So
Right, Mister. The only thing Spieth triumphed
yeah.
is
Spieth doesn't even leave the mainland to go play a tournament anymore. So
literally.
yeah.
But I do have some exciting news.
how exciting.
Well, could be really non-exciting actually. I'll be taking Jay Spieth for the triple-double this week.
Oh,
Wow.
And I don't know whether that speaks to his game as to where I'm using him in a purse such as this. But I do think this is I just don't think he could miss the cut here, first of all.
Oh boy.
I don't think so. I mean, that's very generous, but I mean, God help us if he misses the cut.
Data Golf thinks he only makes the cut. Data Golf thinks he makes the cut just under 3/4 of the time. So this tournament's played 4 times, and Jay Spieth misses the cut once out of
Oh,
four,
yeah, I think that's
according to Data Golf.
well, yeah, but yeah, so that's my exciting news. Yeah.
Honestly, this field's not like as bad as you're making it out to be.
No, but there's just a lot of
Thomas,
there's just a lot of
Sungjae,
non-winners.
It's
I
one
mean,
of the
I guess Sam
crappier
Burns is a
fields he
winner.
will play in this year.
former champion golf of the year, Mr. Harmon is here.
I guess we're just like ranking
Finau's
every
here,
field
so-
based on if Scott's there or if Scott's not there, I guess.
Like what
at this
events
point.
is Spieth gonna play for the rest of the year that'll have a worse field than this? Probably the Schwab and the Nelson. That's it.
Hmm. The
That's
Byron
kind of the way.
Nelson, the
Yeah.
CJ Cup at Byron Nelson or whatever.
Yeah.
The
The Schwab field might be pretty good too. It actually might be better
Yeah.
than this week.
honestly,
Yeah,
I was gonna
for
say
sure.
one of Houston or Valero. Valero, I think Ricky's there and Rory's there.
Yeah.
We'll have to see where
They got a
Mr.
commitment
Sheff-
from VJ Singh as well. Mr. Singh will be there. We'll tune up before
Really?
Augusta.
That's awesome.
Inside sources are telling me Mr. Singh might be a dark horse at Augusta National this year.
So the VJ Singh Jay Spieth matchup at a national would go crazy.
Yeah, the Valero field's good. Ludwig, Fitzpatrick, Ricky, Harmon, Homa, Rory,
At Valero.
Morikawa, Adam Scott. Yeah.
So it's starting to look like that's a spot where Spieth makes a return instead of Houston.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think he's playing. It's weird though. He hasn't committed to either yet. Maybe he
plays
makes a
both.
determination based on what happens this week. I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm
Yeah.
very much
He
leaning
missed it.
Valero though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know Houston's better prep, but if this week goes, regardless of how this week goes, I think he needs a week with McCormick.
Need to put the
Do you guys
training wheels back
have
on?
your
I don't.
you don't have your plays? Okay.
No. Dan, do you have
Yeah, I
yours?
have my points. I've barely made an NCAA bracket right now. It's been a
Yeah.
busy week
Yeah.
up to this point.
It has. And honestly, I made my NCAA bracket honestly in class yesterday because I didn't want to pay attention. So
So who's your champion?
I'm going with an alpha male, Bruce Pearl, to finally get his title.
Interesting. Chuckster's
I think-
team.
I think we're due for a lot of chalk. So I do think we see a lot of 1 and 2 seeds in the final four. I think Marquette makes it. I think UNC gets the final four, but I think Auburn, if they can knock off UConn, which will be a tough task, but I think they have the team to do it. I think that they are the favorite in that left side of the bracket. I think they're the most complete team So
I think
yeah.
UConn got kind of hosed in a little bit.
Oh
because
yeah.
being
Yeah.
the easiest region, and they've got
UConn's gonna have to go Auburn, Iowa State, maybe back to back, just to even get to the Elite Eight.
I don't believe in Iowa State. I'll put that up
Um,
now.
I don't either, but I do think that they are. Hey, I mean, defense does win championships, and if they have shooters that get hot,
Yeah.
but their offensive numbers definitely are nothing to splurge over by any means.
Yeah. I think the game theory numbers, if you look at, you know, Mr. Rick, I'm blanking on his last name right now. The
Heeman?
one with the website. Yes. He does a video on how to optimize your March Madness bracket. Great video. I recommend checking it out if you are a number nerd, like myself. And the numbers say Arizona is the team to pick to win, which is interesting because they do fit all of the trends.
No,
There are
Bob's rival.
16. There are 16
no,
tournaments.
they're just not that good. I don't think. I think they're unserious, honestly.
The numbers disagree with you.
I think that the Pac-12 is pretty lacking, and honestly, if not for the start of the year, I think Oregon is one of the better teams to come out of this conference right now. So
I mean,
I mean,
they fit Ken Palm and they fit Torvik rankings in terms of teams that win, and
yeah,
the public is not on them. That's basically the whole point. Is
they
like
also have a pretty decent road.
they do, they do
They
have
they're in Gonzaga's region, right?
the Final
Gonzaga
Four.
and who's the one seed in that region? Gonzaga and who?
I believe that's it's not Purdue. I think it's North Carolina.
No, it's definitely not North Carolina. Or are they in the bottom left? I thought they were in the bottom right.
I don't know. I know it's not Purdue, and I know that it's not UConn. Who's Marquette in?
Marquette's top right with Houston.
Yeah. So then Arizona.
Oh, they're in tennis. Oh, okay. Yeah, they are in North Carolina's. Okay, yeah, North
I'm
Carolina.
not sold on North Carolina.
I'm sold on them. I think they're very good. I think North Carolina's at least whereas I think Purdue and Houston are unserious teams. I think North Carolina has the team that if they're one of those teams that could be out early, I guess, but I do think they could win it all for sure.
So who are your serious teams in the tournament?
Um,
Auburn.
Auburn. Um, I really like North Carolina. I love New Mexico to go deep. They're not gonna win, but New Mexico is very strong.
Yeah, they're a good
Uh,
team.
um, I don't know. I mean, I like Gonzaga to make the Final Four. Just Mark Few's yearly Final Four exit.
They suck.
They're not quite as good as they used to be.
Yeah, but they also have Purdue and Tennessee.
Right. But a lot of people, I mean, you could make the case, like, if that's how you feel about Purdue and Tennessee, the opponent they play in round one is serious. I believe it's McNeese, right?
McNeese.
McNeese is legit. You don't go 31-3 with or 30-3 or whatever without,
Yeah.
they came to Ann Arbor and beat Michigan. So
Hey, they could lose first round. The Gonzaga could lose first round, but I think to this the thing about Gonzaga is you never really know because they play a bunch of shitters the entire year until
They didn't even win their conference.
Yeah, I know.
Definitely.
I know that, but
but they
St. Mary's is
definitely-
also very good. St. Mary's could come out of
St.
that
Mary's is an
conference.
alpha institution.
Yeah, they could come out of that conference for sure.
I do. Gonzaga does have I mean, if McNeese isn't easy and Kansas in theory isn't easy, but without McCullough for Kansas, I think
Kansas has a Michigan Wolverine legend, though.
Yeah,
Legend-
I'm very,
wrong.
very high on Marquette. Extremely high. That team is extremely good.
I like
Dan,
Marquette.
does Jawan have a replacement yet?
Well,
No.
But that's okay. I mean, we were 8-24.
A bad year, rough year.
Rough year. We finished 2-19.
In the
Like the
conference.
last 21 games, we went 2-19. I
yeah,
mean,
that's not
Arizona
good.
State's out, Michigan out, and my Maryland Terrapins out. Would be
yeah, that's tough.
womp womp womp. Was ASU good this year?
No.
Is Frankie Collins still around?
Yeah, he's good. He's gone though, probably.
Yeah, he was a Michigan man.
Yeah, Frankie Collins was a fun player to watch, but unfortunately, he will not. There's no way he returns. But oh well. Is
He's
what it
well
is.
known. He's well known in his time in Michigan for a step back three that went over the backboard.
Nice. That's
So
probably why he went to ASU.
yes, could be that. Or
Um,
could be the
no,
academic
ASU's
training.
in trouble. We have a coach that does not know how to game manage.
That's always
So
We have a golfer. who does
honestly, I
not know
think
how
if
to
you put
course
Bobby
manage.
Hurley on the Lakers, I don't think the Lakers change. I just think he throws the players out there to do their thing, which doesn't work in college basketball. So, oh well. Bobby Hurley just signed a 5-year extension. So,
Oh. Lovely.
yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm very high on Marquette. I think they're in a great spot. So, yeah,
That's good. But yeah, so I'll get my triple double picks in.
amazing.
Needless to say, they
I
will
will
be
as well. We'll discuss them on Monday night or Sunday after Jordan wins. But every time Dan says Jordan's going to win and we're going to do it live, it doesn't go well. So we'll be here Monday, and if the cards fall into place, maybe we'll be here Sunday. But
Yeah,
we can't jinx it anymore, Dan. We can't jinx it.
fair. Yeah, we will not see you on Sunday.
Yeah, we won't see you on
No.
Sunday. Sorry,
we
apologies. We'll see you
I
Monday.
believe that fully. He's not winning this week. He's
Not
just-
winning. Not winning. See you guys Monday. See ya.
Peace.